Tegna is yours free till March during Furniture Liquidators' 4-day Labor Day weekend sale. With no down payment, no interest, no payments at all till March. Or take an extra 5% discount for cash and credit cards. Sale ends Labor Day at 9 p.m. Don't miss out.
Bruce Willis speaks out about tabloid attacks. The exclusive inside story only on the next Entertainment Tonight.
Monday at 7 on WHAS-TV.
Now, Doug Prophet, Rachel Platt, Gary Rizzo's weather, and Gary Montgomery with sports. Next on the Action 11 News Weekend Edition on WHAS-TV.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Doug Prophet. Rachel Platt is off tonight. 47 Americans are home in the United States tonight after 4 weeks of captivity in Iraq and Kuwait. The former hostages arrived at Dulles International Airport early this morning after 24 hours of travel from Baghdad. The hostage group included 24 women, 11 men, and 12 children. Few of those on the flight have been identified. Most left the airport with relatives refusing to speak to reporters. Those who did speak say they are worried about friends and relatives left behind and believe Iraqi forces may be mistreating those Americans still trapped in the Middle East. An Iraqi student attending Indiana University in Bloomington says he is already starting to feel the heat from people in this country upset with the Kuwaiti invasion.
I take the American government to task for this inconsistency in their approach.
30-year-old Hussein Kadim comes to Louisville often as a student at Indiana University in Bloomington. 2 years ago, he was living in Iraq, his home country, watching the political career of Saddam Hussein. Here in the U.S., he says he is already starting to pay the price.
So far, the reaction has not been that bad. We've been getting some abusive phone calls.
He says he realizes that if a war breaks out, things could become more difficult. For now, Kadim doesn't believe that will happen, saying Saddam could never win a war against the United States.
And I think both sides in the dispute, the Iraqis and the Kuwaitis, realize that the situation has to be resolved peacefully because the military option is no option at all. If a war breaks out, there won't be any Kuwait left by the time the dust has settled down.
And what about Saddam, the television leader? Those pictures of him patting children's heads and mingling with the so-called foreign guests in hotel rooms. To Kadim, it's nothing out of the ordinary.
In Iraq, or within the context of the Iraqi culture, that would have been fairly acceptable. It was a gesture, a goodwill gesture on his part to visit with these people and to make sure that they were all right. And
you believe he was sincere then?
I think he's been visiting children for all his political career in Iraq. He seems to be very fond of children. You always see him with children. So that was not unusual from an Iraqi point of view.
Kadim is critical of the United States, upset with what he says is its duplicity when it comes to foreign policy in the Middle East. In Henry County, Kentucky, a group of women with sons in the military this weekend kicked off their support group, and they're looking for other members. Representatives from the Army and the Red Cross talked to people last night at the Henry County Fairgrounds. They gave them advice about mailing items overseas, what to include, what not. The most important challenge now to combat the boredom of the troops in Saudi Arabia. Anyone can write a soldier a letter or send them a newspaper through a special New York City post office box. The support group wants to start meeting every month. If you are interested, you can call Joyce Brown up in Newcastle and Henry County. Her number, 1-845-4743. Jefferson County Police have arrested 2 Texas men for allegedly selling a large amount of cocaine from a local motel. Police have charged 33-year-old Eduardo Gamboa and 29-year-old David Arthur Hinojosa with trafficking in a controlled substance. County narcotics detectives say the bust occurred very quickly, shortly after midnight. They had just obtained a search warrant for the room the 2 men were occupying at the Howard Johnson's in St. Matthews. That's when they discovered 477.5 grams of cocaine and an undetermined amount of cash. Here's police spokesperson Steve Hill.
It was a considerable arrest because we're not used to the quantity and the quality of the cocaine. There was, in talking with the narcotics detectives, they've informed me that this was really pure, very pure cocaine hadn't been mixed with any other substance yet.
County police say the cocaine holds an estimated street value of $75,000. The two men are scheduled to be arraigned in court on Tuesday. A drug bust in Evansville, Indiana, netted 2 suspects and $2 million worth of illegal drugs. Vanderburgh County Sheriff's officials say they believe 57-year-old David Foster and 31-year-old Darrell Taylor have been dealing in the area for years. Deputies confiscated 15 pounds of methamphetamine from the suspects, the second largest seizure in Indiana history. The drugs were hidden inside the spare tires of Foster's truck. Still ahead on Action 11 News tonight, police patrol for drunk boaters, an increased problem, they say, over Labor Day. We'll have a report from the Ohio River. And local soldiers are being recruited for a harmless battle in the woods of Jefferson County.
Got it! We're being hit from the back. See, we need to start moving.
Hello, I'm Frank Hudson. All of us here at WHAS-TV and Action 11 News hope you'll join us in welcoming Peter Jennings and ABC World News Tonight to WHAS-TV beginning September 9th. And most importantly, I want to assure you that all of us on the Action 11 News team will be right here as always on WHAS-TV Channel 11, where Louisville's watching ABC.
They say that in the future, we will grocery shop by computer. Well, personally, I would rather squeeze the tomatoes myself, but I'm sure glad that Winn-Dixie shops by computer. By using computers, they track down the best deals. They call these deals power buys, and you'll find them on every aisle at Winn-Dixie. Power buys are another way Winn-Dixie gives you low prices nobody can beat. Nobody.
It's Red, White, and Blue Days. Big bargains for you days. We're making a big deal of Labor Day weekend just for you. Shop Schmidt Furniture's 4 floors throughout 7 connecting buildings for store-wide Labor Day weekend savings. Recliners, living room, bedroom, dining room suites reduced. Desks, entertainment centers, and much more at big, big Labor Day weekend savings at Schmidt Furniture on the Furniture Corner, State and Main, New Albany.
We're the affordable furniture store, Schmidt Furniture. On the Furniture Corner of State and Main in New Albany.
Arby's asks, what's the perfect double-decker? Is it a bun, roast beef, another bun, roast beef, tomato, and lettuce? Maybe. Is it roast beef, Swiss cheese, another bun, more roast beef, and Swiss cheese? Perhaps. Or is it roast beef, lettuce, another bun, roast beef, bacon, cheddar, and tomato? We're not sure. Guess you'll have to come in and find out for yourself.
Taste the Arby's difference. Try Arby's new double-deckers. Double-decker deluxe, double-decker beef and Swiss, and double-decker bacon cheddar. Now only $1.99 each at Arby's.
The city of Louisville may have trouble getting back nearly $3 million already spent on airport expansion. The apparent lack of competition for the expansion contract may cause the Federal Aviation Administration to withhold money to reimburse the city for the deal. The contract was given to Schimpler Corradino Associates in 1987. City and airport officials say the competitive bidding process was skipped in order to speed up the expansion and save on costs. The FAA will review the expansion plan, including the contract, later this month. Boaters out to enjoy the water found the Ohio River safer than usual this holiday weekend. Jefferson County Police say beefed-up patrols along the river have helped make a difference on a weekend notorious in the past for drunken parties and other trouble. Action 11's Paula Campbell has the story.
It was the second time Larry Burke and his family were pulled over by the Jefferson County River Patrol in 2 weeks. Last time, Burke lacked the proper flotation device required by state law. This time, he was better prepared.
We just came out of the marina, and when I saw the boat pulling this way, I thought, well, I'm going to get stopped again. But I must say, I'm getting stopped with a little more confidence than the last time.
Police claim it's these spot inspections that has helped boaters think about water safety. And while the Labor Day weekend is traditionally full of boating violations, this year police say they've seen few problems. Officer Tom Olympia.
Our weekend so far has not, it's been the equivalent of a typical weekend. We haven't really seen, an exaggerated amount of activity just because it's a holiday.
Police have also stepped up efforts to crack down on those who drink while operating a boat. Olympia says even though DUI arrests on the river are up 300% over last year, boaters are getting the message not to drink and drive.
As of 2 weeks ago, we have a total of 30 arrests for the year in this area, which compares to about only about 6 or 8 last year. So we've stepped up our efforts to make the water in this area a safer place.
Conflicts between boaters and jet skiers do have police a little concerned. They say they are now exploring ways to prevent problems next year.
We might possibly explore that and use one of those maybe next year to interdict the jet ski population that we have on the Ohio. I'd say each year we double the number of personal watercraft in this area, and that would be a good way to go and approach those people and make sure that they understand the do's and don'ts, the things that they need to be familiar with, so that we eliminate some of the controversy that exists between the personal watercraft and the power boaters.
Police say jet skis are safe as long as they are used properly. Paula Campbell, Action 11 News.
It packs all the elements of war, but without any of the pain and suffering. It's called paintball, and a growing number of Kentuckians are getting involved in the sport, which involves using a special gun to shoot paint at your opponents. This weekend, 80 paintball fans gathered at the Jefferson County Forest to participate in the first annual paintball tournament. Bill Howard, who organized the event, says it's a way for others to learn what the sport is all about.
The Kentucky Paintball Association came into play to where we're trying to introduce the game to people that just like to play it for entertainment. They don't really want to get out there and have that gung-ho attitude to have to win. You don't have to win in this game. It's just a matter of getting out there and playing like a bunch of kids in the woods, cowboys and Indians.
Howard says while the game is strictly for fun, safety is strongly emphasized to prevent people from getting hurt. He also says the paint is biodegradable and, of course, environmentally safe. Coming up, the first no-hitter in Toronto Blue Jay history. And if you've been enjoying the holiday heat this weekend, there's plenty more to come. Not the threat of getting hurt. As Action 11's Paula Campbell reports, a local association is trying to generate more interest in the growing sport.
Just maintain a good morale and
dressed in fatigues and protective goggles, these people are arming themselves for war. The object, eliminate the enemy before the enemy gets you. But unlike real combat, this battle is just for fun, with paintballs being used as bullets.
I got hit 3 times.
This is the Paintball Games, the first annual paintball tournament to take place in Louisville. The sport has been growing in popularity since it was created 20 years ago. Originally, paintball guns were used to mark trees for cutting and to label cattle. Richard Muter says the game creators quickly learned that guns could be a means of fun.
The story started out, a couple guys were around the bunkhouse one night and they were playing quick draw and they just started shooting at each other.
The sport isn't restricted to men only. Youngsters as young as 13 years of age are allowed to play, and women like Nancy Murray are finding the sport a challenge.
It's just a lot of camaraderie. It's fun. Get dressed up in stuff you never wear as a woman. You go out with a gun that you never get to do. You cover your face all up, and you're just like one of the guys.
The Kentucky Paintball Association hopes the weekend tournament will attract others to the sport. Paula Campbell, Action 11 News.
Well, they certainly had the tropical weather to battle that war, and the Jefferson